December 15, 1995, O'Hare International Airport, 11:47 p.m. Carmen Valdez sat in a janitor's closet, holding a crumpled letter about her daughter's future. Tears ran down her face as she read the words again. Sophia needs special help with reading. Program cost $300 per month. $300? It might as well have been $3 million. Carmen worked 2 jobs cleaning offices by day, mopping airport floors by night. She barely slept 3 hours between shifts. But even working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, she couldn't afford to give her brilliant 12-year-old daughter the help she desperately needed. Sophia wanted to be a doctor. She dreamed of helping sick children get better, but dreams don't come true if you can't read well enough to pass your classes. Carmen wiped her eyes and tried to stop crying. She couldn't let her supervisor see her like this. She couldn't let anyone know she was failing as a mother. Then she heard footsteps in the hallway outside. "Excuse me," came a gentle voice. "Are you okay?" Carmen looked up to see a tall man in a black coat and baseball cap. When their eyes met, her breath caught in her throat. It was Michael Jordan. What happened next would change not just Carmen's life, but the lives of thousands of children across America. It would prove that sometimes the most powerful moments begin with the simplest question, "Are you okay?" But that night, Carmen had no idea that her tears in a janitor's closet were about to become the foundation for something extraordinary. The snow fell softly against the big windows of O'Hare Airport. It was 11:47 p.m. on December 15, 1995. Most people had gone home for the night. The airport felt quiet and empty. Michael Jordan walked slowly through Terminal 3. His black leather bag hung over his shoulder. He wore a dark coat and a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. He was tired after the long flight from Detroit. The Bulls had beaten the Pistons 108-100 that night. Michael scored 33 points. The crowd cheered when he made his shots. But now, alone in the airport, he just felt tired. His driver would pick him up soon. But first, he needed to use the bathroom. His feet hurt in his dress shoes. He wanted to go home and sleep. Michael pushed open the door to the men's bathroom. The lights buzzed overhead. The floor was clean and shiny. Someone had done a good job cleaning it. He heard something that made him stop. It was soft crying. The sound came from somewhere nearby. Michael looked around. The bathroom was empty, but the crying continued. It sounded like a woman. She was trying to be quiet, but her sadness was too big to hide. The sound came from a small room next to the bathroom. The door was open just a crack. A sign on the door said custodial staff only. Inside, Michael could see cleaning supplies on metal shelves. He almost walked away. He was tired. He wanted to go home. People cried at airports all the time. Maybe she missed her flight. Maybe she was saying goodbye to someone. It wasn't his business. But something made him stop. Maybe it was the way her shoulders shook. Maybe it was because his mother, Dolores, had taught him to care about people who hurt. She always said, "Michael, if you see someone in pain, you don't just walk by." Michael knocked softly on the door frame. "Excuse me," he said in a gentle voice. "Are you okay?" The crying stopped right away. Michael heard shuffling sounds. Papers rustled. A chair scraped against the floor. "I'm fine," came a shaky voice. Just give me a minute." "Take your time," Michael said. He didn't walk away. Door opened wider. A woman stepped out. She was about 40 years old. She wore a blue uniform with her name tag that said Carmen. Her dark hair was pulled back in a ponytail. Her eyes were red from crying. She looked up at Michael. Her mouth fell open. Her eyes grew wide. "Oh my goodness," she whispered. You're Michael Jordan." "Yes, ma'am," Michael said with a small smile. "But right now, I'm just someone who wants to know if you're all right." Carmen quickly wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She tried to stand up straighter. "I'm sorry, Mr. Jordan. I shouldn't be crying at work. I'm really sorry you had to see this." "Don't be sorry," Michael said. "We all need to cry sometimes." "What's wrong?" Carmen looked down at her hands. She was holding a crumpled white letter. Her fingers shook as she held it. It's nothing important. You probably have somewhere to be. I don't want to bother you." Michael shook his head. "I'm not in a hurry. And you're not bothering me." He meant it. Something about this woman reminded him of his own mother. She worked hard. She cared about people. She was strong. But right now she was hurting. "What's in that letter?" he asked gently. Carmen looked up at him. She seemed surprised that he really wanted to know. Most people would have walked away by now. It's about my daughter," she said quietly. "Her name is Sophia. She's 12 years old." Michael waited for her to continue. He didn't rush her. "She's the smartest kid in her class," Carmen said. Her voice was full of love and pride. "She gets straight A's. She wants to be a doctor when she grows up." "That's wonderful," Michael said. "You must be very proud." "I am," Carmen said. Then her voice cracked again. "But this letter, it says she needs help. Special help with her reading. She's falling behind because English is hard for her. It's her second language." Carmen's tears started flowing again. "The school has a program that could help her, but it costs money. Money I don't have." Michael felt his heart tighten. He knew what it was like to worry about a child's future. He thought about all the kids who had dreams but needed help to reach them. "Tell me about Sophia," he said softly. "What does she like to do?" Carmen's face lit up, even through her tears. "She loves to read medical books from the library. She takes care of her stuffed animals like they're real patients. She says she wants to help sick children get better." Michael smiled. "She sounds like a special kid." "She is," Carmen whispered. "But what if I can't give her what she needs? What if I'm not enough?" Michael looked at this woman who worked so hard for her daughter. He thought about his own mother, who had sacrificed so much for her children. He knew he had to help. "What's your name?" he asked. "Carmen," she said. "Carmen Valdez." "Well, Carmen Valdez," Michael said, "I think we need to talk." Carmen looked around the empty hallway. She felt nervous talking to the most famous basketball player in Chicago. "Maybe in the whole world, Mr. Jordan. You don't have to listen to my problems. I know you're busy and important. Call me Michael," he said. "And right now, nothing is more important than this." He meant it. Carmen could see it in his eyes. They were kind eyes, not the eyes of someone who was just being polite. "Why don't you tell me about yourself?" Michael said. "How long have you worked here?" Carmen took a deep breath. 8 years. "I started working here when Sophia was 4 years old." She told him her story. She came to Chicago from Mexico when she was 22 years old. She spoke very little English then. She carried big dreams but had very little money. "I wanted a better life," Carmen said. "Not just for me, but for the family I hope to have someday." She met Sophia's father, Roberto, at a restaurant where they both worked. He was kind and funny. He made her laugh when she felt scared in a new country. But Roberto got sick when Sophia was 3 years old. The doctors couldn't help him. He died when Sophia was 4. "That's when I started working here," Carmen said. "I needed a job with good benefits. Sophia needed to see doctors for checkups. I needed to make sure she stayed healthy." Michael listened carefully. He didn't interrupt. He didn't look at his watch or act like he wanted to leave. "Working here saved us," Carmen continued. "The pay isn't much, but it's steady. And I have insurance for Sophia. That's the most important thing." "What about during the day?" Michael asked. "Do you work other jobs?" Carmen nodded. "I clean offices downtown. I work from 6 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Then I come home and spend time with Sophia. She gets home from school at 3:30. "When do you sleep?" "I sleep from 3 in the morning until 5:30. Sometimes I take a nap when Sophia does her homework." Michael shook his head. Carmen worked almost 20 hours every day. She worked 7 days a week. She never took vacations. "That must be so hard," he said. "It's worth it," Carmen said quickly. "Sophia is everything to me. She's so smart." "Michael, you should see her report cards. All A's. Her teachers say she's special." Carmen's face glowed when she talked about her daughter. All her tiredness seemed to disappear. "She reads books that are too hard for most kids her age. She watches doctor shows on TV and asks me questions about what the doctors are doing. She wants to understand everything." "What does she say about becoming a doctor?" "She says she wants to help kids who are sick. She says kids shouldn't be scared when they go to the hospital. She wants to make them feel better." Michael smiled. Sophia sounded like an amazing kid. "But this letter," Carmen said, holding up the crumpled paper. It says she's falling behind in reading. The other kids are reading faster than she is. It's because English is still hard for her. Sometimes. Carmen's voice got shaky again. At home, we speak Spanish. It's easier for both of us. But at school, everything is in English. Sophia is trying so hard, but she needs help. What kind of help? Michael asked. There's a special reading program at her school. It's for kids who speak two languages. The teachers work with them extra time every day. They help them understand the hard words. They teach them tricks to read faster. That sounds perfect for Sophia. It is perfect, Carmen said. But it costs $300 every month. I don't have $300 extra. Carmen looked down at her hands. I've tried everything. Asked my boss if I could work extra hours. But there are no extra hours to work. I already work almost every hour of the day. Have you talked to the school? Maybe they have scholarships or help for families. I tried. They said all their scholarship money is already given to other families. They told me to try again next year. But Sophia needs help now. If she falls too far behind, she might not catch up. Carmen started crying again. I came to America so Sophia could have chances I never had. I wanted her to go to college. I wanted her to become whatever she dreamed of becoming. You're a good mother, Carmen. Sophia is lucky to have you. But what if being a good mother isn't enough? What if I can't give her what she needs to succeed? Michael thought about his own mother. Dolores Jordan worked multiple jobs to support her family. She cleaned houses during the day and worked at a bank at night. She always made sure her children had what they needed for school. My mother worked two jobs too, Michael said quietly. She sacrificed everything for me and my brothers and sisters. Carmen looked surprised. Really? Really? She used to tell me that talent is a gift from God, but hard work is a choice we make every day. It sounds like Sophia makes good choices. She does. She studies every night after dinner. She asked me to quiz her on her spelling words. She practices her math problems until she gets them right. And it sounds like you make good choices too. Working two jobs, putting Sophia first, never giving up. Carmen wiped her eyes. But choices don't pay for special programs. Michael nodded. He understood. Hard work wasn't always enough. Sometimes people needed help. Sometimes they needed someone to believe in them and give them a chance. He reached into his wallet and pulled out some money. Carmen's eyes went wide when she saw it. Mr. Jordan, I can't take your money. I'm not asking for charity. I would never ask for charity. It's not charity. Michael said, it's an investment. I believe in Sophia. I believe in you. But Carmen shook her head firmly. She stepped back from the money. My mama taught me to work for what I get. She said never to take something you didn't earn. If you want to help Sophia, then help me find a way to earn it. Michael looked at Carmen with new respect. Most people would have taken the money and said thank you. Carmen wanted to earn it. She had pride. She had dignity. She wanted to teach Sophia the right lessons about working hard and earning what you get. Okay, Michael said, putting the money back in his wallet. What if I told you I might have a job opportunity, something that would pay you enough to afford Sophia's program and more? Would you be interested in hearing about it? Carmen looked confused. What kind of job? I don't know how to do anything except clean. Michael smiled. You know how to care about people. You know how to work hard. Know what it means to sacrifice for someone you love. Those are the most important skills anyone can have. I don't understand. I've been thinking about starting something to help kids like Sophia. Kids who have big dreams but need extra support to reach them. I need someone to help me make it work. Someone who understands what families like yours go through every day. Carmen stared at him. You want me to help you? I want you to think about it. Can you do that? Carmen nodded slowly. She still didn't understand exactly what Michael was talking about. But for the first time in months, she felt something she had almost forgotten. She felt hope. Michael watched Carmen's face change. The sadness was still there, but now there was something else. A tiny spark of hope in her tired eyes. Carmen, can I ask you something? Michael said. What exactly does Sophia want to be when she grows up? A doctor. Carmen answered right away. Not just any doctor. She wants to help children who are sick. She wants to work in a hospital where kids go when they're really hurt or scared. Michael smiled. That's very specific. How long has she wanted this? Since she was 7 years old. We were at the emergency room because she fell off her bike and hurt her arm. The doctor who helped her was so kind. She talked to Sophia like she was important. She explained everything she was doing. Carmen's voice got stronger as she talked about that day. Sophia watched everything. She asked the doctor questions. She wanted to know why the X-ray machine worked. She wanted to know how bones heal. The doctor spent extra time with us, even though she was busy. What happened then? When we got home, Sophia drew pictures of herself wearing a white coat. She pretended to take care of her dolls. She said she wanted to make scared kids feel better, just like that doctor made her feel better. Michael nodded. He understood. Someone had shown Sophia kindness when she needed it. Now Sophia wanted to show that same kindness to other children. She still does that, Carmen continued. She reads medical books from the library. She watches doctor shows on TV. She asks me to help her learn the names of bones and muscles. That's amazing, Michael said. She's already working toward her dream. But dreams don't come true just because you want them to. Carmen said quietly. Sophia needs good grades to get into college. She needs to go to college to become a doctor. And good grades start with being able to read well. Michael thought about his own childhood. His mother, Dolores, always told him that dreams were possible if you worked hard enough. But she also made sure he had what he needed to succeed. My mother used to tell me something, Michael said. She said talent is a gift from God, but hard work is a choice you make every day. It sounds like Sophia makes good choices every day. She does, Carmen said with pride. She never complains about studying. She never says her homework is too hard. She just keeps trying. And what about you? Do you think you make good choices? Carmen looked surprised by the question. I don't know. I just do what I have to do for Sophia. Working 2 jobs to support your daughter is a good choice. Putting her education first is a good choice. Never giving up is a good choice. Carmen had never thought about it that way. She just did what felt right as a mother. But choices don't pay for special reading programs, she said again. Michael nodded. You're right. Sometimes good people who make good choices still need help. Sometimes they need opportunities. He leaned against the wall and looked at Carmen carefully. What if I told you I've been thinking about starting a foundation, a place that helps kids like Sophia? Kids who work hard and have big dreams but need extra support. Carmen didn't know what a foundation was. She had heard the word before, but she wasn't sure what it meant. What's a foundation? She asked. It's like a special organization that helps people. Rich people give money to the foundation. Then the foundation uses that money to help families who need it. Carmen frowned. That sounds like charity. I already told you I don't want charity. It's not charity if you work for it, Michael said. What if the foundation had a job for you? What if you could earn the money to help Sophia and other kids too? Carmen looked confused. What kind of job? I told you. I only know how to clean. You know more than you think. You know what it's like to struggle. You know what it's like to worry about your child's future. You know what it's like to work hard for your family. Michael's voice got more excited as he talked. I need someone to help me run this foundation. Someone who understands what families like yours go through every day. Someone who really cares about helping kids succeed. Carmen shook her head. But I'm just a janitor. I don't know anything about running a foundation. You know the most important thing, Michael said firmly. You know why it matters. He told her more about his idea. The foundation would help kids who were smart and worked hard but needed extra support. It would pay for tutoring programs like the one Sophia needed. It would help families buy school supplies and books. It might even help pay for college someday. I have the money to start it, Michael said, but I don't know how to make it work. I don't know which kids need help the most. I don't know what families really need. Carmen listened carefully. Sounded too good to be true. But I know all those things, she said slowly. Exactly. You live it every day. You understand what would really help families like yours. Michael pulled out a business card and wrote his phone number on the back. I want you to think about this, Carmen. I would pay you twice what you make from both your jobs combined. You would work normal hours, so you could spend evenings with Sophia. And the foundation would pay for Sophia's reading program. Carmen's hands shook as she took the card. Are you serious? I'm completely serious. But I need to know you're serious too. Carmen looked at the card. She had never seen this much possibility in one small piece of paper. What do you mean? I need to know you really want to help other kids, not just Sophia. This job would be about helping hundreds of children, maybe thousands someday. Are you ready for that responsibility? Carmen thought about all the times she had seen other mothers crying at the grocery store because they couldn't afford things their kids needed. She thought about other kids at Sophia's school who seemed sad or worried. Yes, she said quietly. I want to help other kids too. Good. Then here's what I want you to do. Take some time to think about this opportunity. Talk to Sophia about it. Decide if you really want to take on this challenge. Michael started walking toward the exit. Then he stopped and turned back. Carmen, there's one more thing. If you decide you want this job, you have to prove you're ready for the responsibility. What do you mean? I want you to find 5 kids in your neighborhood who need help with school. Spend time with them over the next 2 weeks. Help them with homework. Encourage them. Show them that someone believes in them. Carmen felt nervous. I've never done anything like that before. Neither have I, Michael said with a smile. But sometimes the best way to learn something is to just start doing it. He handed her another card. Call me after Christmas if you're interested. But only if you complete the challenge first. Carmen watched Michael Jordan walk away through the empty airport terminal. She looked down at the cards in her hand. Then she looked at the letter about Sophia's reading program. For the first time in months, she wasn't just worried about her daughter's future. She was excited about it. Carmen walked slowly through the empty airport. Her mind was spinning with everything Michael Jordan had told her. A foundation, a job, a chance to help other kids like Sophia. She looked at the business cards in her hand. One had Michael's phone number. The other was blank except for his signature. She couldn't believe this was really happening. When she got home, Sophia was asleep. In her small bed, Carmen sat down in the kitchen and read the school letter again. $300 every month. Money she didn't have, but now there might be another way. Carmen made herself a cup of tea and thought about Michael's offer. A foundation to help kids who worked hard but needed extra support. Kids whose parents worked 2 jobs but still couldn't afford special programs. Kids just like Sophia. The next morning, Carmen woke up at 5:30 like always. But something was different. Instead of feeling tired and worried, she felt energy running through her body. Sophia came into the kitchen for breakfast. She wore her school uniform and carried her backpack full of books. Good morning, Mama, Sophia said, giving Carmen a hug. Good morning, Nija. How did you sleep? Good. I had a dream that I was a doctor in a big hospital. I was helping a little boy who broke his leg. I made him laugh so he wouldn't be scared. Carmen smiled. Sophia had dreams like this all the time. That sounds like a wonderful dream. Are you ready for school? Yes. Today we're learning about the human heart in science class. Did you know the heart beats about 100,000 times every day? Carmen marveled at her daughter's curiosity. Sophia loved learning new things, especially about science and medicine. That's amazing, Sophia. You're so smart. I want to learn everything I can about the human body. That way I'll be ready for medical school when I'm older. Medical school. Carmen's heart ached thinking about how expensive that would be. But now, maybe there was hope. After Sophia left for school, Carmen went to her day job cleaning offices. But she couldn't stop thinking about Michael's words. She thought about the foundation. She thought about the challenge he gave her. Find 5 kids who need help with school. Help them for 2 weeks. Show them someone believes in them. Carmen had lived in the same neighborhood for 8 years. She knew many of the families. She knew which parents worked long hours like she did. She knew which kids seemed sad or struggled in school. During her lunch break, Carmen walked around her neighborhood. She stopped at the small playground where kids played after school. She watched them running and laughing. Then she saw a boy sitting alone on a bench. He looked about 8 years old. He had a book open in his lap, but he wasn't reading. He was just staring at the pages with a frustrated look on his face. Carmen walked over to him. "Hello," she said gently. "What are you reading?" The boy looked up. He had big brown eyes and messy black hair. "I'm supposed to be reading this book for school," he said, "but the words are too hard. I don't understand them." "What's your name?" "Miguel. Miguel Santos." "Hi, Miguel. I'm Carmen. What grade are you in?" "Second grade. My teacher says I need to read better or I might have to repeat the grade." Carmen's heart went out to him. She sat down on the bench next to Miguel. "Where are your parents right now?" "They're both at work. They work until 6 o'clock. My abuela watches me after school, but she doesn't speak English very well." Carmen understood. Miguel's situation was similar to what Sophia's might have been if Carmen hadn't been able to help her with homework. "Would you like me to help you with your reading?" Carmen asked. Miguel's face lit up. "Really? You would do that?" "Of course. What if I came here tomorrow after school? We could read together." "That would be great. But why would you help me? You don't even know me." Carmen thought about Michael's words. Sometimes people needed to know that someone believed in them. "Because every kid deserves help with their dreams," she said. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be a teacher," Miguel said. "Like my teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez. She's really nice to me even when I can't read the words right." "That's a wonderful dream. And teachers need to be good readers so they can help their students." Miguel nodded seriously. "That's why I need to get better at reading." "We'll work on it together," Carmen promised. Over the next few days, Carmen found for more children who needed help. There were twin sisters, Ana and Rosa, who were 10 years old. They were excellent at math but struggled with English because they spoke Spanish at home. She found Jamal, an 11-year-old boy whose grandmother was raising him. He was brilliant at science but his grandmother didn't understand his homework well enough to help him. And she found Lily, a 9-year-old girl who loved writing stories but was too shy to share them with anyone. She didn't think her stories were good enough. Each child had a different struggle. Each child had big dreams. And each child just needed someone to believe in them and give them extra help. Carmen started meeting with the children every day after her day job ended. She helped Miguel sound out difficult words. She worked with Ana and Rosa on English grammar. She studied science with Jamal. She encouraged Lily to read her stories out loud. At first, Carmen felt nervous. She wasn't a teacher. She didn't have special training. What if she couldn't really help them? But then she realized something important. These kids didn't need a perfect teacher. They just needed someone who cared about them and believed they could succeed. The children started improving quickly. Miguel began reading simple sentences without help. Ana and Rosa gained confidence in English class. Jamal's science grades went up. Lily started sharing her stories with her classmates. Carmen felt proud watching them grow. But more than that, she felt something she had never experienced before. She felt like she was making a real difference in the world. One evening, Sophia noticed her mother seemed different. "Mama, you seem happy lately." "Why?" Carmen sat down with her daughter. She told Sophia about meeting Michael Jordan. She told her about the foundation idea and the job opportunity. She told her about the 5 children she was helping. "You met Michael Jordan," Sophia said, her eyes wide. "The basketball player, yes, but he's more than just a basketball player. He wants to help kids like you achieve their dreams." Sophia thought about this. "And he wants you to help him, maybe, if I can prove I'm ready for the responsibility." "I think you are, Mama. Look how much you've already helped Miguel and the other kids, and look how hard you work for me." Carmen hugged her daughter. "What do you think about the idea? If I took this job, it would mean big changes for our family." "Good changes." "I think so. I would make more money, so I could afford your reading program. I would work normal hours, so I could spend more time with you. And I would be helping lots of other children too." Sophia smiled. "I think you should do it, Mama. You're really good at helping people." Carmen felt her heart fill with warmth. Her 12-year-old daughter believed in her. The 5 children she was tutoring believed in her. And maybe, just maybe, Michael Jordan believed in her too. Christmas was only a week away. Soon, she would have to call Michael with her decision, for the first time in years. Carmen felt ready for something new. She felt ready to take a chance on herself and her abilities. She felt ready to help change the world, one child at a time. The next day after work, Carmen met with all 5 children at the playground. She had been helping them for a week now. She could already see changes in each of them. Miguel ran up to her with a big smile. "Carmen, I read 3 whole pages yesterday without stopping." "My abuela was so proud." "That's wonderful, Miguel. I'm proud of you too." Ana and Rosa came over together, like they always did. "Carmen, we got A's on our English test," Ana said excitedly. "Our teacher said our grammar is getting much better," Rosa added. Jamal walked over carrying his science book. "Look what I found at the library," he said. "It's about how the brain works." "I understand most of the words now." Lily was the last to join them. She was still shy, but she wasn't as quiet as before. "Carmen, I wrote a new story. Would you like to hear it?" Carmen's heart felt full. These children were growing and learning. They were gaining confidence. They were starting to believe in themselves. "I would love to hear your story, Lily. But first, I want to tell you all something important." The children sat down on the playground benches and looked at Carmen carefully. "I'm going to continue helping you with your schoolwork," Carmen said. "But I also want to tell you about something exciting that might happen." She explained about meeting Michael Jordan. She told them about the foundation idea. She explained that she might get a job helping many more children like them. "You met Michael Jordan?" Jamal asked, his eyes wide. "The basketball player?" "Yes. And he believes that all children deserve help with their education. Children like you." Miguel raised his hand. "If you get this new job, will you still help us?" "Of course I will. But I might also be able to help other kids too. Kids whose parents work hard but can't afford tutoring or special programs." Lily spoke up quietly. "My mom works 2 jobs like you do, Carmen. She always looks tired. And my parents work at night," Miguel said. "They want to help me with homework. But they're not home when I need help." Ana and Rosa nodded. "Our dad works at a factory. He doesn't know English very well, so he can't help us with our reading." Carmen realized that all these children understood what it was like to have parents who worked hard but couldn't always provide extra help with school. "What if we could help more kids like you?" Carmen asked. "What if there was a place where children could get tutoring and help with homework? What if there were programs to help kids who have big dreams but need extra support?" Jamal got excited. "That would be amazing. There are lots of kids at my school who need help. My cousin Rosa, not this Rosa, but another Rosa, she's really smart but she's failing math," Miguel said. "Her mom cries because she can't afford a tutor." Carmen felt a spark of an idea. "What if you could help other kids too? What if kids who get help then turn around and help younger kids?" The children looked at each other with interest. "You mean, like, I could help other kids learn to read after I get better at reading?" Miguel asked. "Exactly. Ana and Rosa, once your English gets really good, you could help other kids who speak Spanish at home. And I could help kids with science," Jamal said. Lily smiled shyly. "Maybe I could help kids who want to write stories but are too scared to try." Carmen felt amazed. These children weren't just thinking about themselves. They were already thinking about how they could help others. That's exactly the kind of thinking that makes a program like this work, Carmen said. Over the next week, Carmen spent even more time with the 5 children. But now they had a bigger purpose. They weren't just working on their own schoolwork. They were also thinking about how to help other kids. Miguel started bringing his cousin Carlos to their reading sessions. Carlos was 6 years old and just learning to read. Miguel helped him sound out simple words. Ana and Rosa found 3 younger children in their apartment building who needed help with English. They started teaching them basic vocabulary words. Jamal discovered that his neighbor's son was struggling with science. He began explaining simple science concepts to the younger boy. Lily started a small writing group with 2 other girls from her class. They wrote stories together and shared them with each other. Carmen watched all of this happening and felt amazed. She had thought Michael wanted her to help 5 children. But those 5 children were now helping other children. The circle of help was growing bigger. Word began to spread through the neighborhood. Other parents heard about the kids who were getting help with homework. They started asking Carmen if she could help their children to. Mrs. Martinez knocked on Carmen's door one evening. "I heard you're helping children with their schoolwork. My daughter Isabella is having trouble with math. Could you possibly help her?" Mr. Johnson stopped Carmen at the grocery store. "My son Kevin heard that some kids are getting reading help. He's struggling in school. Is there room for one more?" Carmen felt overwhelmed but also excited. So many children needed help. So many. Parents were working hard but couldn't afford tutors or special programs. She started organizing the children into small groups. The older kids helped the younger ones. The kids who were good at reading helped kids who struggled with reading. The kids who understood math helped kids who found math difficult. Carmen didn't have a fancy classroom or expensive materials. They met at the playground, in the community center, and sometimes in Carmen's small apartment. They used library books and homework from school. But something magical was happening. The children were learning from each other. They were supporting each other. They were becoming a community of kids who believed in education and helping others. Sophia watched her mother organize all of this and felt proud. "Mama, you're already running a foundation. You just don't have an office yet." Carmen realized Sophia was right. She wasn't waiting for Michael Jordan to give her permission to help children. She was already doing it. She was already making a difference. 2 weeks had passed since Michael gave her the challenge. Carmen had found 5 children to help, but now she was helping 15 children, and those children were helping other children. She looked at Michael's business card every night before going to bed. Christmas was tomorrow. Day after Christmas, she was supposed to call him with her decision. But Carmen already knew what her decision would be. She had discovered something about herself that she never knew before. She was good at helping children learn. She was good at organizing and bringing people together. She was good at making kids believe in themselves. More importantly, she loved doing it. Even though it was extra work on top of her 2 jobs, it didn't feel like work. It felt like purpose. Carmen had found her calling. She was ready to help change the world, one child at a time, and she was ready to tell Michael Jordan that she wanted to make it her full-time job. But first, she wanted to spend Christmas with Sophia and celebrate how far they had both come. Tomorrow would be a day of family and gratitude. The day after Christmas would be the first day of their new life. Christmas Eve morning came quietly to Carmen's small apartment. Snow fell softly outside the window. The Christmas tree Sophia had decorated with paper ornaments sparkled in the corner. Carmen woke up early, like always, but today felt different. Today was the last day before she had to make the biggest decision of her life. Sophia was still sleeping. Carmen made coffee and sat at the kitchen table. Michael Jordan's business card lay next to her cup. She had looked at it every morning for 2 weeks. Tonight, she was supposed to call him with her answer. Carmen thought about everything that had happened since that night at the airport. 2 weeks ago, she was just a janitor who cleaned floors and worried about her daughter's future. Now she was helping 15 children in her neighborhood. Parents were calling her for advice. Kids were teaching other kids. She had discovered something amazing about herself. She was good at helping children learn and grow. She was good at bringing families together. She was good at making kids believe they could achieve their dreams. But taking Michael's job would mean leaving everything she knew. It would mean trusting that she could handle something she had never done before. Sophia came into the kitchen wearing her pajamas. Her hair was messy from sleep, but her eyes were bright and excited. "Merry Christmas Eve, Mama," Sophia said, giving Carmen a big hug. "Merry Christmas Eve, Nijo. Did you sleep well? I had the best dream. I dreamed that I was a doctor in a children's hospital. But instead of being scared, all the kids were happy because they knew I would take good care of them." Carmen smiled. Sophia's dreams about being a doctor were getting more detailed and confident. "That sounds like a wonderful dream. Are you excited about Christmas tomorrow?" "Yes. But Mama, I'm more excited about something else." "What's that?" Sophia sat down at the table next to her mother. "I'm excited about your phone call tonight. I think you're going to say yes to Mr. Jordan." Carmen looked at her daughter with surprise. "How do you know what I'm going to say?" "Because I see how happy you've been these past 2 weeks. When you come home from helping Miguel and Anna and Rosa and Jamal and Lily, you look different. You look proud and excited. Sophia was right. Carmen had felt more energetic and hopeful than she had in years, but taking this job would mean big changes for our family, Carmen said. Are you ready for that? What kind of changes? Well, I would stop working at the airport and stop cleaning offices. I would work at an office during the day, helping run the foundation. We might have more money, so we could afford your reading program and maybe even move to a bigger apartment. Sophia's eyes got wide. Really? We could move somewhere with 2 bedrooms, Carmen laughed. Maybe, but more importantly, I would be home every evening to help you with homework and spend time with you. That would be amazing, Mama. I miss you when you're working all the time. Carmen felt her heart ache. She had always known that working 2 jobs meant less time with Sophia. But hearing her daughter say she missed her made Carmen realize how much they had both been sacrificing. And there's something else, Carmen said. If I take this job, I'll be helping lots of children like Miguel and the others. Maybe hundreds of children, maybe even thousands someday. Sophia thought about this seriously. That's a lot of children. Yes, it is. It would be a big responsibility. What if I'm not good enough? What if I make mistakes? Sophia reached over and took her mother's hand. Mama, you're already helping 15 kids in our neighborhood. And those kids are helping other kids. You didn't make any mistakes with them. Carmen squeezed Sophia's hand. Her 12-year-old daughter was wise beyond her years. What about the other kids you've been helping? Sophia continued. You will help them if you take this new job. Carmen had been thinking about this question for days. Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, Lily, and all the other children in their neighborhood, they still needed support. I've been thinking about that, Carmen said. What if the foundation could help kids in our neighborhood too? What if this job meant I could help Miguel and the others even more than I'm helping them now? Sophia's face lit up. You mean the foundation would come to our neighborhood? Maybe. That's one of the things I would want to talk to Mr. Jordan about. They sat quietly for a moment, both thinking about all the possibilities. Mama, can I ask you something? Sophia said. Of course. Are you scared? Carmen thought about the question. Yes, I am scared. I've never had a job like this before. I don't know if I'm smart enough or educated enough. But you've been doing this job for 2 weeks already, Sophia pointed out. You've been helping kids learn and organizing their families. You've been solving problems and making kids feel better about themselves. Carmen realized Sophia was right again. She had been doing foundation work without even knowing it. I think you should take the job, Sophia said firmly. Not just because it would help our family, but because it would help so many other families too. Are you sure? I'm sure. And Mama, I want to help too. What do you mean? When I get older, I want to volunteer at the foundation. I want to help kids who dream about becoming doctors, like me. I want to show them that their dreams can come true if they work hard and have people who believe in them. Carmen felt tears coming to her eyes. Her daughter wasn't just thinking about her own future anymore. She was thinking about how she could help other children achieve their dreams too. You know what, Sophia? I think you're going to be an amazing doctor and an amazing volunteer. That evening, after they had dinner and watched a Christmas movie together, Carmen picked up the phone. Sophia sat next to her on the couch for support. Carmen dialed Michael Jordan's number. Her hands shook a little as she waited for him to answer. Hello, came Michael's familiar voice. Mr. Jordan, this is Carmen Valdez. Carmen, I was hoping you would call. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve to you too. I'm calling to give you my answer about the foundation job. I'm listening. Carmen took a deep breath. Sophia squeezed her hand encouragingly. Yes, Carmen said. Yes, I want to take the job, but I have some questions and some ideas I'd like to discuss with you. I'm all ears. What kind of ideas? Carmen told Michael about everything that had happened over the past 2 weeks. She told him about the 15 children she was now helping. She told him about the peer tutoring that was happening naturally. She told him about the parents who were asking for help. You've already started a foundation in your neighborhood, Michael said, sounding amazed. That's what Sophia said. She told me I was already doing the job. Michael laughed. Your daughter sounds very smart. She is. And Mr. Jordan, she wants to help too. She wants to volunteer when she gets older. I think that's a wonderful idea. Carmen, you've proven that you're exactly the right person for this job. You didn't just help 5 kids like I asked. You created a whole community of kids helping each other. Carmen felt proud and nervous at the same time. So what happens next? We start building something amazing together. Can you meet me next week to talk about the details? Yes, I can do that. Perfect. Carmen, I want you to know something. 2 weeks ago, I hoped you might be able to help me start a foundation. Tonight, I realize you're going to help me build something much bigger and better than I ever imagined. After Carmen hung up the phone, she and Sophia hugged each other tightly. We did it, Mama, Sophia whispered. No, Mija, Carmen said. We're just getting started. January 3rd, 1996. Carmen stood outside a small office building in downtown Chicago. Snow covered the sidewalks, but the sun was shining brightly. She wore a simple blue dress that Sophia had helped her pick out at the thrift store. You look beautiful, Mama, Sophia had said that morning. You look like someone who helps children achieve their dreams. Carmen felt nervous as she walked into the building. She had never worked in an office before. She had never worn dress clothes to work. She had never had a job where people called her by her first name instead of just the cleaning lady. The elevator took her to the 3rd floor. A sign on the door read Second Chance Foundation coming soon. Carmen's heart raced as she knocked. Michael Jordan opened the door with a big smile. Carmen, welcome to your new job. Thank you. Michael, I still can't believe this is really happening. Believe it? Come on in and see what we're working with. The office was small but bright. There were 3 rooms with donated furniture and 2 computers. The walls were empty, waiting for pictures and certificates. It wasn't fancy, but it felt full of possibility. This is where the magic will happen, Michael said. This is where we'll change children's lives. Another woman was waiting in the main room. She was about Carmen's age, with short black hair and a friendly smile. Carmen, I'd like you to meet Patricia Chen. She's going to help us with the legal and business side of running the foundation. Patricia shook Carmen's hand warmly. I'm so excited to meet you, Carmen. Michael has told me amazing things about the work you've already been doing in your neighborhood. Carmen felt embarrassed. I just helped some kids with their homework. Don't be modest, Patricia said. You created a peer tutoring network in 2 weeks. You got parents involved. You organized 15 children into learning groups. That's exactly the kind of leadership we need. Michael nodded. Carmen, you proved something very important. You proved that kids want to help other kids when you give them the chance. That's going to be the heart of our foundation. They spent the morning talking about programs and ideas. Carmen was amazed by how much she had to contribute to the conversation. She knew which types of help children needed most. She understood what challenges families faced. She had ideas about how to make programs work in real neighborhoods with real families. I think we should start with after-school tutoring, Carmen said. Kids need help with homework, but their parents are working. If we can provide tutoring at schools and community centers, we can reach more children. That's brilliant, Patricia said, taking notes. What else? We need mentoring programs. Kids need adults who believe in them and encourage their dreams. Not just help with schoolwork, but someone who listens to their goals and helps them figure out how to reach them. Michael smiled. You're already thinking like a foundation director. Carmen felt a warm feeling in her chest. For the first time in her life, people were asking for her opinions and treating her ideas as important. There's something else, Carmen said. I think kids should help other kids. Miguel is helping his cousin Carlos learn to read. Ana and Rose are teaching English to younger children. When kids help each other, they both learn more. Peer tutoring, Patricia said, writing quickly. That's innovative and cost-effective. Over the next few hours, they planned the foundation's first programs. They would start with 3 locations: Sophia's school, the community center in Carmen's neighborhood, and a school on the south side of Chicago. They would hire tutors and coordinators. They would provide supplies and snacks. They would track each child's progress and celebrate their successes. What about funding? Carmen asked. How will we pay for all of this? Michael explained that he was providing the startup money, but they would also ask other donors to contribute. Companies, wealthy individuals, and other organizations would help support the programs. Your job will be to make sure the money is spent wisely, Michael said. You'll oversee the day-to-day operations. You'll hire staff and manage programs. You'll be the heart of this foundation. Carmen felt both excited and terrified. What if I make mistakes? What if I'm not good enough at this? Patricia leaned forward. Carmen, do you know what makes a good foundation director? It's not having a college degree or wearing expensive clothes. It's caring about the mission and understanding the people you're trying to help. You've lived the struggles our families face. Michael added, you understand what it's like to work 2 jobs and still worry about your child's future. That knowledge is more valuable than any business degree. Carmen thought about Miguel struggling to read, about Anna and Rosa building confidence in English, about Jamal lighting up when he understood a science concept. She thought about Sophia's dreams of becoming a doctor. I want to do this, she said firmly. Want to help as many children as possible. Then let's get started, Michael said. They spent the afternoon setting up Carmen's office. It was small but had a window that looked out over the city. Carmen put a picture of Sophia on her desk and a small plant that Patricia had brought as a welcome gift. This is really my office, Carmen asked, sitting in her new chair. It's really your office, Michael confirmed. And tomorrow, we start interviewing tutors for our first program. When Carmen got home that evening, Sophia was waiting with dinner ready and homework spread across the kitchen table. How was your first day, Mama? Carmen sat down and told Sophia everything. She described the office, meeting Patricia, planning the programs, and seeing her name on the door. They want me to hire tutors and manage the programs, Carmen said. They're treating me like I'm really capable of running a foundation. That's because you are capable, Sophia said simply. You've been proving it for weeks. That night, Carmen called her old supervisor at the airport to officially give her notice. Mr. Rodriguez was proud but sad to see her go. You're going to help so many families, Carmen, but we'll miss you here. You always worked harder than anyone else. Carmen also called her boss at the office cleaning company. She felt guilty leaving, but she knew this was the right choice. Next morning, Carmen put on her blue dress again and returned to the Second Chance Foundation office. Today, she would start interviewing tutors. Tomorrow, she would visit the 3 schools where they planned to start programs. As she unlocked her office door, Carmen thought about the journey that had brought her here 3 weeks ago. She was crying in an airport bathroom, worried about her daughter's future. Today, she was the director of a foundation that would help hundreds of children. She thought about Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily. This weekend, she would visit them and tell them about the foundation. She would let them know that the help they had been giving each other was going to become something much bigger. Carmen sat at her desk and opened her notebook. She wrote day 1 at the top of the page. Then she made a list of everything she wanted to accomplish that week. Interview tutors, visit schools, eat with parents, order supplies, plan the opening day celebration. Each item on the list represented children who would get help with their homework, children who would gain confidence in school, children who would dare to dream bigger dreams. Sophia was right. Carmen was capable of this job. She was ready to help change the world, 1 child at a time, and she was just getting started. 6 months later, Carmen could hardly believe how much had changed. The Second Chance Foundation was now helping over 200 children across Chicago. What started as a small idea in an airport bathroom had become something amazing. Carmen arrived at the office early every morning, just like she used to arrive early for her cleaning jobs. But now she wore business clothes and carried a briefcase. Sophia had helped her pick out 3 different outfits from the thrift store so she could look professional. Good morning, Carmen, called Jennifer, one of the tutors Carmen had hired. The kids at Lincoln Elementary are so excited about today's science program. Carmen smiled. Jennifer was a college student who wanted to become a teacher. The foundation paid her to tutor kids after school, and she was wonderful with them. That's great, Jennifer. How is Marcus doing with his reading? He's reading to grade levels higher than when he started. His mother cried when she saw his report card last week. Stories like this happen every day now. Children who had been struggling in school were getting better grades. Kids who had been shy were gaining confidence. Families were feeling hopeful about their children's futures. Carmen walked to her office and found a stack of letters on her desk. Parents wrote to thank the foundation for helping their children. Teachers wrote to say how much their students had improved. Children wrote to tell Carmen about their dreams for the future. One letter was from Anna, one of the twin girls Carmen had first helped in her neighborhood. "Dear Carmen," the letter said, "thank you for believing in me and Rosa. We both got accepted to the magnet school for math and science. We want to be engineers when we grow up. Someday we want to help build bridges and buildings that will help people. We will never forget that you were the first person to help us believe we could do anything." Carmen felt her heart swell with pride. Anna and Rosa were proof that giving children support and encouragement could change their entire future. Patricia knocked on Carmen's office door. "Do you have a minute? A reporter from the Chicago Tribune wants to interview you about the foundation." Carmen felt nervous. "A reporter? Why would they want to talk to me?" "Because what we're doing here is special, Carmen. Other cities are asking how they can start similar programs. You've created something that really works." The reporter, Ms. Williams, came to the office that afternoon. She was a friendly woman with a notebook and a camera. "Tell me how this foundation started," Ms. Williams said. Carmen told the story, starting with that night at the airport. She explained how Michael Jordan had challenged her to help 5 children, and how that had grown into helping hundreds of children. "What makes this foundation different from other tutoring programs?" the reporter asked. "We believe in peer tutoring," Carmen explained. "Older kids help younger kids. Children who are good at math help children who struggle with math. When kids teach each other, they both learn more." "Can you give me an example?" Carmen smiled, thinking of Miguel. "One of the first children I helped was an 8-year-old boy named Miguel. He couldn't read very well. Now he's 10, and he's helping teach reading to first graders. He's also one of the best readers in his class. That's remarkable." "What about funding? How do you pay for all these programs?" "Michael Jordan provided our startup money, but now we have donations from local businesses and individuals who believe in our mission. We also apply for grants from foundations and government programs," Patricia added. "Carmen has been amazing at writing grant applications. She knows exactly how to explain what children need and why our programs work." After the reporter left, Carmen sat in her office thinking about how much her life had changed. She was now writing reports, managing budgets, and giving interviews. She was doing things she never thought she could do, but the best part was still working directly with children and families. Every few weeks, Carmen visited O'Hare Airport. She went back to see her old coworkers in the custodial department. She wanted them to know she hadn't forgotten where she came from. Carmen called Mr. Rodriguez when he saw her walking through Terminal 3. "Look at you. We're all so proud." Carmen hugged her former supervisor. "How is everyone doing?" "Good, good. But I have to tell you something. Several of my employees have been asking about the foundation. They want to know if their children can get help with school." "Of course they can," Carmen said immediately. "Have them call the office and we'll set up meetings." Mr. Rodriguez smiled. "You know, Carmen, that night you met Michael Jordan in the bathroom, I never imagined it would lead to all this." Carmen laughed. "I never imagined it either. I was just crying about Sophia's reading program." "How is Sophia doing now?" "She's amazing. She's in the advanced reading program at school. Her grades are excellent. She's already talking about which colleges she wants to attend that weekend." Carmen took Sophia to visit Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily. These 5 children had become like family to them. They were the first children Carmen had helped, and they were thriving. Miguel was now in 4th grade and reading at 6th grade level. He spent 2 hours every week helping younger children learn to read. Anna and Rosa were in 7th grade at their magnet school. They were excelling in advanced math and science classes. Jamal was in 8th grade and had won first place in the city science fair. He wanted to study medicine like Sophia. Lily was in 6th grade and had published 3 stories in the school newspaper. She was also teaching a creative writing workshop for younger students. "Look what you all accomplished," Carmen told them as they sat together in the community center. "You never gave up on yourselves, and now you're helping other kids never give up either." Anna raised her hand with a question. "Miss Carmen, what about all the other kids in our neighborhood who still need help?" "There are kids who don't know about the foundation yet." Carmen felt proud. Anna was always thinking about others, just like Sophia did. "You're right, Anna. There are still children who need help. Do you have any ideas about how we can reach them?" The 5 children came up with a plan. They wanted to start a peer mentoring program where successful students from the foundation would visit schools and talk to other kids about the importance of education. "We could tell them our stories," Miguel suggested. "We could show them that if we can improve in school, they can too, and we could help them sign up for foundation programs." Rosa added. Lily spoke up quietly. "We could also help them believe in their dreams. Sometimes kids give up on their dreams because they think they're impossible." Carmen was amazed by their ideas. These children who had needed help just 8 months ago were now ready to become leaders and help others. "I think that's a wonderful plan," Carmen said. "Let's talk to Patricia about starting a student ambassador program." Sophia, who had been listening carefully, raised her hand. "Can I be an ambassador too? I want to tell kids about becoming a doctor." Carmen hugged her daughter. "Of course you can, Ija. You have an important story to tell." As they walked home that evening, Sophia asked her mother a question. "Mama, are you happy with your new job?" Carmen thought about the question. "Yes, Sophia, I'm very happy. But do you know what makes me happiest?" "What?" "Seeing children like Anna and Miguel and you become leaders. Watching you all grow up to help other children. That's the best part of my job." Sophia smiled. "I'm proud of you, Mama. You didn't just change our life. You changed lots of families' lives." Carmen looked up at the Chicago skyline. Somewhere in the city, over 200 children were doing homework with the help of foundation tutors. Hundreds of parents were feeling hopeful about their children's futures. Students were teaching other students and discovering they could be leaders. The Second Chance Foundation was growing bigger every month. Other cities were asking for advice about starting similar programs. Carmen was being invited to speak at conferences about education and community development. But Carmen never forgot that it all started with one mother crying about her daughter's future and one basketball player who cared enough to stop her. "Andy, listen. Tomorrow, she would go back to the office and help more children. She would write more grant applications, hire more tutors, and visit more schools." She was just getting started, and there was so much more work to do. December 15, 1996. Exactly 1 year since Carmen had met Michael Jordan in the airport bathroom. The Second Chance Foundation was celebrating its first anniversary with a big party at the Lincoln Park Community Center. Carmen wore a new navy blue dress that Sophia had helped her pick out. Not from the thrift store this time. Carmen could afford to shop at regular stores now, but she still chose simple, practical clothes that felt comfortable. Over 300 people filled the community center. There were children from all the foundation programs, their parents, teachers, tutors, volunteers, and supporters from around Chicago. Colorful balloons hung from the ceiling, and tables were full of food that families had brought to share. Carmen stood at the front of the room, looking out at all the faces. She recognized many of them. There was Miguel, now 11 years old, and confidently helping to younger boys with their math homework. Anna and Rosa sat with their parents, wearing their magnet school uniforms and beaming with pride. Jamal was at a table with 3 other kids, showing them a science experiment he had learned. Lily was reading one of her stories to a group of younger children who listened with wide eyes. Sophia sat in the front row, wearing a dress she had sewn herself in home economics class. She was almost 14 now, and her dreams of becoming a doctor had only grown stronger. She volunteered at the foundation every weekend, helping kids with science homework and talking to them about setting goals. Carmen cleared her throat and tapped the microphone. The room grew quiet. 1 year ago today, Carmen began. "I was crying in a janitor's closet at O'Hare Airport because I thought I couldn't give my daughter the future she deserved. The People nodded. Many of them understood that feeling. I thought my problems were too big to solve. I thought I was alone. I thought that working hard wasn't enough to help my family get ahead. Carmen's voice grew stronger as she continued. But that night, I learned something important. I learned that when we help each other, we can accomplish anything. When we believe in each other's children, we create hope for everyone's future. The crowd applauded. Carmen waited for them to quiet down. Today, this foundation helps over 300 children in Chicago. Those children are getting better grades, gaining confidence, and dreaming bigger dreams. But more than that, they're helping each other. They're becoming leaders in their schools and communities. Carmen pointed to Miguel. Miguel started as a struggling reader. Now he teaches reading to first graders every week. She pointed to Ana and Rosa. Ana and Rosa came here speaking mostly Spanish. Now they tutor other bilingual students and help them succeed in advanced classes. The crowd cheered for the girls, who waved shyly. Every child in this room has a story of growth and success. Every family here has felt the joy of watching their children achieve more than they thought possible. Carmen paused and looked directly at Sofia. But the most important thing I learned this year is that helping others helps yourself. When we lift up other people's children, we lift up our own children too. When we invest in our community's future, we create a better world for everyone. Parents wiped tears from their eyes. Teachers nodded in agreement. The children looked proud and excited. So today, we're not just celebrating 1 year of the Second Chance Foundation. We're celebrating 1 year of families supporting families. 1 year of children believing in themselves and each other. 1 year of proving that every child deserves a chance to succeed. The crowd erupted in applause. Carmen felt overwhelmed by the love and support in the room. But before we continue our celebration, Carmen said, I have a surprise. There's someone special here tonight who wants to say a few words. People looked around curiously. Carmen had told everyone this was just a community celebration. She hadn't mentioned any special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, Carmen said with a big smile, please welcome the founder of the Second Chance Foundation, Michael Jordan. The room exploded with excitement. Children jumped up from their chairs. Parents gasped and started clapping wildly. Some people pulled out cameras to take pictures. Michael walked through the crowd, shaking hands and high-fiving kids as he made his way to the front. He wore a simple black suit and had a huge smile on his face. Thank you, thank you, Michael said into the microphone as the cheering gradually died down. It's amazing to be here with all of you tonight. He looked out at the crowd of families and children. 1 year ago, I met a woman who was worried about her daughter's future. But what I really met was a woman who had the courage to care about all children's futures. Michael gestured toward Carmen. Carmen didn't just take a job when I offered her this position. She created a mission. She turned an idea into a movement. He told the crowd about Carmen's challenge, how she had to help 5 children before she could accept the foundation job. I asked her to help 5 kids, Michael said. She helped 15 kids in 2 weeks. Then those kids started helping other kids. That's when I knew Carmen understood something I was still learning. Michael's voice got more serious. Real change doesn't happen when rich people write checks and walk away. Real change happens when people from the community step up and become leaders themselves. He pointed to Miguel, Ana, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily. These 5 young people were Carmen's first students. Look at them now. They're not just succeeding in school. They're helping other kids succeed too. Michael talked about visiting the foundation programs throughout the year. He described watching Carmen train tutors, organize events, and work with families. Carmen has taught me that the best leaders are people who understand the problems they're trying to solve. She doesn't just run programs for struggling families. She was a struggling family. She knows what kids need because she lived it herself. The crowd listened intently as Michael shared his observations about the foundation's impact. But tonight, I want to make an announcement that even Carmen doesn't know about yet. Carmen looked surprised. Michael winked at her. Because of Carmen's leadership and the incredible success of this program, I'm donating $1 million to expand the Second Chance Foundation to 5 more cities across the country. The room went absolutely wild. People jumped up and down. hugged each other, and cheered so loudly that Michael had to wait several minutes before he could continue speaking. Carmen felt stunned. $1 million, 5 more cities, thousands more children would get help with their education. Chicago was just the beginning. Michael continued. Carmen has proven that this model works. She's proven that when you give communities the resources they need, they can solve their own problems and help their children succeed. He looked directly at Carmen. I can't wait to see what you accomplish next. After Michael finished speaking, people crowded around him for autographs and pictures. But Carmen noticed something wonderful. Most of the children wanted to talk to Michael about their schoolwork and their dreams, not just about basketball. Mr. Jordan, Miguel said, tugging on Michael's sleeve. I want to be a teacher when I grow up. Carmen taught me that helping other kids learn makes me feel really good. That's fantastic, Miguel, Michael said, kneeling down to Miguel's level. Teachers change the world every day. Anna approached shyly. Mr. Jordan, my sister and I want to be engineers. We want to build things that help people, like bridges and hospitals. Those are amazing goals, Anna. Keep working hard in your math and science classes. Sophia came over with Jamal and Lily. Mr. Jordan, we started a student council at the foundation. We help plan programs and activities for the younger kids. That's leadership in action, Michael said proudly. You're all proving that age doesn't matter when it comes to making a difference. As the evening wound down, Michael, Carmen, and Sophia sat together at a quiet table in the corner. The other families were slowly heading home, but they wanted a few minutes to talk privately. Carmen, Michael said, are you ready for this expansion? 5 cities is a big responsibility. Carmen thought about the question. A year ago, she would have been terrified. Now, she felt excited and confident. I'm ready, she said, but I want to make sure we do it right. Each city needs to have local leaders like I was here in Chicago, people who understand their communities and really care about the kids. Absolutely, Michael agreed. What else? I want to make sure the peer tutoring program is part of every location. Kids helping kids is what makes this foundation special, Sophia added, and I want to help train the student ambassadors in the new cities. I can teach them how to talk to other kids about setting goals and believing in themselves. Michael smiled. You two make a great team. I have a feeling the Second Chance Foundation is going to change a lot more lives in the coming years. As they walked out of the community center together, Carmen looked back at the building where so many children had found hope and support. Tomorrow, she would start planning how to bring that same hope to kids in 5 more cities. But tonight, she just wanted to celebrate how far they had all come. From one crying mother in an airport bathroom to hundreds of thriving families across Chicago, she was ready for whatever came next. After the celebration ended and most people had gone home, Michael and Carmen sat quietly in the empty community center. Sophia was helping Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily stack chairs and clean up decorations. Their laughter echoed through the large room. Carmen watched the children work together and felt amazed by how much they had all grown. A year ago, these kids had needed help with basic schoolwork. Now they were leaders, mentors, and examples for other children to follow. Carmen, Michael said softly, can I tell you something I've never told anyone else? She looked at him with curiosity. In all their meetings and conversations over the past year, Michael had always been supportive and encouraging, but he had never talked much about his personal feelings. Of course, she said. What is it? Michael was quiet for a moment, watching Sophia and the other kids laugh as they folded up tables. That night I met you at the airport, he began. I was going through one of the hardest times in my life. Carmen felt surprised. Michael Jordan seemed like someone who had everything: fame, money, success, and respect from people all over the world. What do you mean? She asked gently. Michael took a deep breath. I had just come back from playing baseball. I was trying to honor my father's memory by playing the sport he loved. But deep down, I was questioning everything about my life. Carmen listened carefully. She had read in the newspapers about Michael's father and about his time playing baseball, but she had never heard him talk about it personally. I was asking myself hard questions. Michael continued. Did I still love basketball? Was I making the right choices? Was I the person I wanted to be? Was I using my success to help people the way my father would have wanted? Carmen nodded. She understood what it felt like to question yourself and wonder if you were doing enough. I was walking through that airport feeling sorry for myself. Michael said, I was thinking about how difficult everything was for me, how much pressure I felt, how tired I was of everyone expecting me to be perfect. He paused and looked at Carmen directly. Then I heard you crying, and I almost walked away. I was so focused on my own problems that I almost missed the chance to help someone who really needed it. Carmen remembered that night so clearly. She had been sitting in the janitor's closet, holding Sophia's school letter, feeling like she was failing as a mother. But something made me stop. Michael continued. Maybe it was my mother's voice in my head, telling me to pay attention to people who are hurting. When I talked to you that night, when I saw how much you cared about Sophia, when I saw your strength and your pride, it reminded me why I play basketball in the first place. Carmen didn't understand. What do you mean? Michael smiled. I play basketball to inspire people, to show them that with hard work and dedication, you can achieve your dreams. But that night, you inspired me. I inspired you. Carmen could hardly believe it. Double quotes, yes. You showed me what real courage looks like. You showed me what it means to put someone else's dreams before your own. You were working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, sacrificing everything for Sophia's future. That's true strength. Carmen felt tears starting in her eyes. She had never thought of herself as inspiring anyone. You reminded me that my success only matters if I use it to help other people succeed too. Michael said, you helped me remember why my father was so proud of me, not because I could play basketball, but because he believed I would use my gifts to make the world better. Michael reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was old and worn, like he had carried it for a long time. Carmen, there's something else I need to tell you. Something I should have told you from the beginning. Carmen felt her heart start beating faster. What is it? That night at the airport, when I found you crying, it wasn't completely an accident that I was there. Carmen looked confused. I don't understand. Michael explained that earlier that evening, his flight had been delayed. Instead of waiting in the VIP lounge like he usually did, he had decided to walk around the terminal to clear his head. I ended up talking to your supervisor, Mr. Rodriguez. He was working late that night, checking on the custodial staff. Carmen's eyes widened. Mr. Rodriguez, he knew you were going to talk to me. No, he had no idea. But when I mentioned I was feeling lost and wondering how to use my success to help people, he started telling me about his employees. He told me about you. Carmen sat in stunned silence. He told me about how hard you work, how you never complain, how you're always helping other employees when they're having problems. He told me about Sophia and how smart she is. He told me he wished there was something he could do to help your family. Michael unfolded the old paper in his hands. After talking to him, I couldn't stop thinking about your situation. I kept walking around the airport, wondering if there was something I could do to help. When I heard you crying in that bathroom, it felt like I was supposed to be there. Carmen stared at the paper in Michael's hands. What is that? This is the letter you were holding that night. The letter from Sophia's school about the reading program. You dropped it when you stood up to talk to me. I picked it up and I've carried it with me ever since. He handed the letter to Carmen. She recognized it immediately. The same white paper, the same school letterhead, the same information about the $300 monthly program. But there was something Carmen had never noticed before. At the bottom of the letter, in small handwriting, was a note from Sophia's teacher, Mrs. Patterson. The note said, Sophia is one of the most determined students I've ever taught. She never gives up, even when assignments are difficult. With the right support, she could accomplish anything. I believe in her future. Carmen read the note 3 times. Sophia's teacher had believed in her from the beginning. Your daughter's teacher believed in her, Michael said softly. Mr. Rodriguez believed in you. I believed in both of you from that first conversation. But most importantly, you believed in everyone else. Michael gestured towards Sophia and the other children, who were now playing a game while they finished cleaning. Look at them. Carmen, look what you created. Sophia is thriving in school and planning for college. Miguel is a confident reader and a natural teacher. Anna and Rosa are excelling in advanced classes. Jamal is a science star. Lily is a published writer and a mentor to younger kids. Carmen watched the children and felt overwhelmed by emotion. You didn't just change their lives, Michael continued. You changed hundreds of families' lives. You created a model that's going to help thousands more children across the country. Carmen looked down at the letter again, focusing on Mrs. Patterson's handwritten note. I always thought that night was just a coincidence, she said quietly. Maybe it was a coincidence that brought us together, Michael said. But what happened after that wasn't coincidence. That was choice. You chose to take the challenge seriously. You chose to help those 5 children with everything you had. You chose to believe in the Foundation's mission even when you were scared. Michael stood up and walked over to where the children were playing. Sophia, he called. Can you come here for a minute? Sophia ran over, her face glowing with happiness from the evening's celebration. Yes. Mr. Jordan, I want you to know something about your mother. She's one of the bravest people I've ever met. A year ago, she was willing to take a big risk to help you and other children succeed. That takes real courage. Sophia hugged Carmen tightly. I know, Mr. Jordan. I'm proud of my mama every day. Carmen felt the weight of the past year settling over her, all the challenges, all the growth, all the children who had been helped because she had been brave enough to say yes to something bigger than herself. Michael, she said, thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you for reminding me why my success matters, he replied. Thank you for showing me that the best way to honor my father's memory is to help other parents achieve their dreams for their children. As they walked out of the community center together, Carmen looked back one more time at the place where so many children had found hope and support. Tomorrow, she would start planning the expansion to 5 new cities. She would train new leaders, hire new staff, and help create programs that would change thousands more lives. But tonight, she was just grateful for the journey that had brought her here. From a crying mother in an airport bathroom to a confident leader ready to change the world, she was ready for whatever came next, and she knew she wasn't facing it alone. 5 years later, December 2001, Carmen stood in her office at the Second Chance Foundation headquarters in downtown Chicago. Through her window, she could see the city skyline stretching toward Lake Michigan. Snow was falling gently, just like it had that night 6 years ago when everything changed. The foundation now operated in 12 cities across the United States. They had helped over 5,000 children improve their grades, gain confidence, and achieve their dreams. What started in a small 3-room office had grown into a national organization with staff, volunteers, and supporters from coast to coast, but today felt especially meaningful. Today was December 15, 2001, exactly 6 years since Carmen had met Michael Jordan in the airport bathroom. Sophia was now 17 years old, a senior in high school with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. She had already been accepted to Northwestern University on a full academic scholarship. She planned to study pre-medicine and then become a pediatric doctor. Just like she had dreamed when she was 12, Carmen's phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. Carmen, it's Michael. Are you ready for tonight's celebration? Tonight, the foundation was hosting its biggest anniversary celebration ever. Over 1,000 people would gather at the United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls, to celebrate 6 years of changing children's lives. I'm ready, Carmen said. Are you sure about having it at your basketball arena? It seems so big. Michael laughed. Carmen, when we started this foundation, you were helping 5 kids in a playground. Now we're helping thousands of kids across the country. We need a big space to celebrate something this important. Carmen smiled. Michael was right. The foundation had grown beyond anything either of them had imagined that first night. How many people are coming tonight? She asked. Over 1,000 confirmed. We have families from all 12 cities. We have kids who graduated from our programs and are now in college. We have tutors and volunteers who have been with us since the beginning. Carmen felt excited and nervous. Speaking to 1,000 people was very different from speaking to 300 people at their first anniversary party. Don't worry, Michael added, as if reading her thoughts. You're going to be amazing. You always are. After hanging up the phone, Carmen walked around her office, looking at the pictures on her walls. There was a photo of Miguel from his high school graduation. He had become valedictorian of his class and was now studying education at DePaul University. He wanted to become an elementary school teacher. There was a picture of Anna and Rosa at their engineering school. Both twins had received full scholarships to study at the Illinois Institute of Technology. They were designing bridges and buildings that would help communities across the world. Jamal's photo showed him receiving a science award. He was now a pre-med student at the University of Chicago, following in Sophia's footsteps toward becoming a doctor. Lily's picture was from the publication of her first children's book. She was studying journalism and creative writing at Northwestern, and she volunteered at the foundation every weekend, teaching creative writing workshops to younger children. But the photo that meant the most to Carmen was a group picture of all the original children with their families. Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, Lily, and Sophia stood together, wearing graduation caps and big smiles. They had all finished high school with honors. They were all attending college. They were all planning careers where they could help other people. Carmen's assistant, Maria, knocked on her office door. "Carmen, your car is here to take you to the United Center." Carmen gathered her notes for tonight's speech and her purse. She wore an elegant black dress that Sophia had helped her choose. It was the nicest outfit Carmen had ever owned, but she still felt most comfortable in simple, practical clothes. As her car drove through Chicago's downtown streets, Carmen thought about all the changes in her life. She now earned more money than she had ever imagined possible. She had been featured in magazines and newspapers. She had spoken at conferences across the country about education and community development, but the most important change was that she had discovered her purpose in life. She was meant to help children believe in themselves and achieve their dreams. The United Center looked magnificent as Carmen's car pulled up. Red and gold banners hung from the entrance, reading Second Chance Foundation, 6 years of changing lives. Families streamed through the doors, many wearing foundation t-shirts and carrying homemade signs celebrating their children's achievements. Inside the arena, Carmen was amazed by the scene. The basketball court had been covered with round tables, decorated with balloons and flowers. Giant screens around the arena showed photos and videos of children from foundation programs. The atmosphere felt like a combination of a graduation ceremony and a family reunion. Patricia Chen, who was now the foundation's chief operating officer, met Carmen at the entrance. "Carmen, look at this turnout. I can't believe how many families traveled here from other cities just to celebrate with us." Carmen looked around the arena and recognized faces from programs across the country. There were families from Detroit, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and 8 other cities where the foundation now operated. "This is incredible, Patricia. 6 years ago, I never imagined anything like this was possible. 6 years ago, you were changing the world one child at a time," Patricia said. "Tonight, we're celebrating thousands of children whose lives are different because of your vision and leadership." Sophia appeared next to Carmen, wearing her Northwestern University sweatshirt and a huge smile. "Mama, look how many people are here, and look who I found." Behind Sophia stood Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily. They were all home from college for winter break, and they had come to help with tonight's celebration. "Carmen," Miguel called out, giving her a big hug, "we wanted to surprise you. We've been helping kids get ready for tonight's program." Anna stepped forward. "We've been working with the student ambassadors from the different cities. They're so excited to share their stories and talk about their dreams." Rosa added, "It's amazing to see kids who remind us of ourselves 6 years ago, kids who are just starting to believe they can accomplish anything." Jamal, now taller than Carmen and wearing his University of Chicago jacket, said, "We've been telling them about that first day you helped us at the playground, about how you believed in us before we believed in ourselves." Lily, who was still quiet but much more confident than she used to be, said softly, "We've been explaining to them that the foundation isn't just about tutoring and homework help. It's about learning that you can help other people while you're achieving your own dreams." Carmen felt tears of pride in her eyes. These 5 young people had grown from struggling elementary school students into confident college students and community leaders. "You know what makes me proudest?" Carmen asked them. "What?" They said together. "That you came back. That you're still helping other kids. That you remember where you started and you want to help other children have the same opportunities." Sophia put her arm around her mother. "We learned that from you, Mama. You never forgot where you came from. You still visit your old friends at the airport. You still live in the same neighborhood. You still care about the same things that mattered to you 6 years ago." Before Carmen could respond, the lights in the arena dimmed and music began playing. It was time for the celebration to begin. Carmen walked to the stage in the center of the arena. A spotlight followed her as she approached the microphone. Over 1,000 people applauded as she reached the podium. 6 years ago tonight, Carmen began, her voice echoing through the arena. "I was a janitor at O'Hare Airport, crying in a supply closet because I thought I couldn't give my daughter the future she deserved." A crowd grew quiet, listening intently. "Was working 2 jobs, sleeping 3 hours a night, and still couldn't afford a $300 reading program that my daughter needed to succeed in school." Carmen looked out at the audience and saw hundreds of parents nodding. They understood that struggle. "That night, I met someone who changed my life forever. Not because he gave me money or solved my problems for me, but because he believed in me and gave me a chance to help other children while helping my own." Carmen gestured toward the corner of the arena where Michael Jordan sat with his family. "But tonight isn't about that one person who helped me. Tonight is about the thousands of people in this arena who are helping each other. Tonight is about children who are achieving dreams they didn't know they could have. Tonight is about families supporting families and communities lifting up communities." Carmen's voice grew stronger as she continued. 6 years ago, I helped 5 children in my neighborhood with their homework. Those 5 children are now college students who spend their free time helping younger children believe in themselves." The spotlight found Miguel, Ana, Rosa, Jamal, Lily, and Sophia in the audience. They stood up and waved as the crowd cheered. But they represent thousands of children across 12 cities who have discovered that success isn't just about achieving your own dreams. Success is about helping other people achieve their dreams too. Carmen paused and looked around the arena filled with families, volunteers, and supporters. 6 years ago, I thought my story was about one mother trying to help one daughter. Tonight, I know my story is about all of us working together to make sure every child has the support they need to succeed." The crowd gave Carmen a standing ovation that lasted several minutes. "The Second Chance Foundation isn't really about second chances," Carmen concluded. "It's about first chances. It's about making sure every child gets their first real chance to believe in themselves, to dream big dreams, and to know that their community will support them every step of the way." As Carmen walked off the stage, she felt overwhelmed by gratitude. She thought about that scared, tired woman crying in an airport bathroom 6 years ago. That woman could never have imagined this moment, this celebration, this impact on thousands of families. But that woman had made one brave choice. She had said yes to something bigger than herself. She had agreed to help 5 children, and those 5 children had helped change the world. Carmen was ready for whatever came next, and she knew she would never face it alone. After the celebration ended and most families had headed back to their hotels, Carmen found herself sitting quietly in the empty United Center with the people who mattered most to her. Michael Jordan sat to her right, Patricia Chen to her left, and Sophia, Miguel, Ana, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily formed a circle around them on the arena floor. The basketball court looked huge without all the tables and decorations. Overhead banners celebrating the Chicago Bulls championships hung from the rafters. But tonight, Carmen felt like they had celebrated something even more important than basketball victories. "Mama," Sophia said, breaking the comfortable silence, "I want to tell you something." Carmen looked at her daughter, who was now almost 18 and ready to start college in just 8 months. "What is it, Mija?" "Tonight, while you were giving your speech, I was looking around at all those families. I saw parents crying happy tears because their children were succeeding in school. I saw kids who looked exactly like I did 6 years ago, scared but hopeful. Sophia's voice grew stronger as she continued. I realized that everything you went through, all the hard work and the long hours and the worrying about my future, it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about all those children and families. Carmen felt her heart swell with pride. Her daughter had grown into such a thoughtful and caring young woman. And I've made a decision about my future, Sophia announced. Everyone looked at her with curiosity. I still want to become a doctor. I still want to help sick children get better. But I also want to do more with the foundation. Sophia looked around at Miguel, Ana, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily. We've been talking, and we want to start a scholarship program specifically for kids who want to study medicine, teaching, engineering, science, and writing. We want to create a fund that helps foundation kids pay for college and graduate school. Miguel nodded enthusiastically. We've all received scholarships to college, but we know there are kids in the foundation programs who might not get the same opportunities. Ana spoke up. Rosa and I want to establish an engineering scholarship for girls, especially girls who speak Spanish as their first language. Jamal added, I want to create a science scholarship for kids who are interested in medical research and helping their communities, Lily said quietly. And I want to start a writing scholarship for kids who have stories to tell but don't think anyone wants to hear them. Carmen looked around at these 5 young people and felt amazed by their generosity and vision. That's a wonderful idea, she said, but scholarships cost a lot of money. How do you plan to fund them? Sophia smiled. We've been saving money from our part-time jobs. We've also been talking to our professors and classmates about fundraising ideas. And we want to ask Mr. Jordan if he would help us get started. Michael had been listening quietly, but now he grinned widely. I think that's the best idea I've heard in years, he said. Count me in. I'll match whatever money you 5 can raise for the scholarship fund. Patricia pulled out her notebook and started taking notes. This is exactly the kind of expansion the foundation needs. Programs created by kids for kids. Carmen felt overwhelmed by emotion. 6 years ago, she had been worried about affording one reading program for one child. Now, that same child was planning to help dozens of other children afford college education. There's something else, Sophia said. I want to spend my summer vacation before college working full-time for the foundation. I want to visit all 12 cities and meet with the kids in our programs. What would you do in those visits? Carmen asked. I want to tell them my story. I want them to know that 6 years ago, I was failing in reading and my mother was crying because she couldn't afford to help me. I want them to see that if I can get a full scholarship to Northwestern University, they can achieve their dreams too. Miguel raised his hand. Can we all do that? Can we create a summer program where we visit different cities and talk to kids about setting goals and working hard? Carmen looked at Michael, who was nodding enthusiastically. I love this idea, Michael said, but I want to add something to it. He stood up and walked to the center of their circle. I want to expand the foundation to 20 more cities over the next 5 years, and I want these 6 young people to help lead that expansion. Carmen felt her breath catch. 20 more cities would mean helping tens of thousands more children. Are you serious? She asked. Completely serious, Carmen. You've proven that this model works anywhere, but more than that, you've created a new generation of leaders who understand the foundation's mission from the inside. Michael gestured toward the 6 young people. Sophia, Miguel, Ana, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily aren't just success stories. They're proof that when you help children believe in themselves, they grow up to help other children believe in themselves too. Patricia looked up from her notes. 20 more cities would require a huge budget increase and a lot more staff. I'm prepared to make the investment, Michael said, but only if Carmen is ready to lead it. Carmen thought about the magnitude of what Michael was proposing. The Second Chance Foundation would become one of the largest youth education organizations in the country. They would be helping hundreds of thousands of children across 32 cities. It was exciting and terrifying at the same time. What do you think, Mama? Sophia asked gently. Carmen looked around at the people who had become her second family. Patricia, who had been with the foundation since the beginning and had helped turn Carmen's grassroots ideas into professional programs. Michael, who had believed in her when she couldn't believe in herself, and most importantly, the 6 young people who represented everything the foundation was trying to achieve. I think, Carmen said slowly, that 6 years ago, I was a janitor who just wanted to help her daughter succeed in school. Today, I'm surrounded by young people who want to help thousands of other children succeed in school. She stood up and walked to the center of the circle, just like Michael had done. I think that's the most beautiful transformation I could ever have imagined. Not just my transformation, but all of ours. Carmen looked up at the championship banners hanging from the ceiling. Michael, you won 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls. Those banners will hang here forever, and people will remember your greatness as a basketball player. She looked around at her foundation family. But I think what we're building together is going to last even longer. Every child we help grows up to help other children. Every family we support goes on to support other families. Every community we strengthen becomes a place where more children can thrive. Carmen's voice grew stronger with conviction. So yes, I'm ready to expand to 20 more cities. I'm ready to help hundreds of thousands more children. I'm ready to work with Sophia, Miguel, Hannah, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily to create a future where every child in America has access to the support they need to achieve their dreams. The group erupted in cheers and applause. Sophia jumped up and hugged her mother tightly. I'm so proud of you, Mama. Look how far we've all come. Carmen hugged her daughter back and looked around at the others, who were all embracing and celebrating. No, Nija, Carmen said. Look how far we're all going to go. As they finally left the United Center and stepped out into the snowy Chicago night, Carmen thought about that scared woman who had been crying in an airport bathroom 6 years ago. That woman had been worried about one child's future. Tonight, Carmen was planning for the futures of hundreds of thousands of children, but the most amazing part wasn't how much the foundation had grown. The most amazing part was that Carmen was no longer the only adult working to change children's lives. Sophia, Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily were now adults too, ready to carry on the mission and expand it in ways Carmen had never imagined. They walked through the snowy streets of Chicago together, planning and dreaming and laughing. Carmen realized that the scared, worried mother from that night at the airport would be amazed to see this moment. But she would be most amazed by Sophia. The little girl she had been so worried about was now a confident young woman planning to change the world. As they reached their cars, Sophia turned to her mother one last time. Mama, do you remember what you told me that night when you decided to call Mr. Jordan? What did I tell you? You said we were just getting started. Carmen smiled and looked at the group of young leaders surrounding her. I was right, she said. We were just getting started, and now look where we are. Sophia grinned. And now we're just getting started again. Carmen drove home through the quiet streets of Chicago, thinking about everything that lay ahead. Tomorrow, she would start planning the expansion to 20 more cities. She would work with Sophia and the others to create new scholarship programs. She would continue building something that would help children for generations to come. But tonight, she was just grateful. Grateful for that moment of courage 6 years ago when she decided to say yes to something bigger than herself. Grateful for Michael's belief in her potential. Grateful for Sophia's wisdom and strength. Grateful for Miguel, Anna, Rosa, Jamal, and Lily, who had taught her that helping others helps herself. Most of all, she was grateful for the lesson she had learned that first night in the airport. When you help someone else achieve their dreams, you discover your own purpose in life. That purpose had brought her here, to this moment, to this incredible future full of possibility. Carmen was ready for whatever came next, and she knew she would never face it alone. Where are you listening from right now? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from our community around the world. If this story touched your heart and inspired you to believe in the power of kindness, please hit that like button to help spread this message of hope. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories like this one that remind us of the good in humanity and the power we all have to make a difference. And please share this video with your friends and family. In a world that sometimes feels divided, stories like Carmen and Michael's remind us that kindness, compassion, and believing in others can truly change the world. Together, we can spread more kindness and awareness. Together, we can be the reason someone else never gives up on their dreams. Thank you for listening. And remember, you might be someone's Michael Jordan moment today. Don't let it pass you by. Until next time, keep believing in the power of second chances.